10, 11, and 12, before this was even called Unblinded. So Leland, having you back here, I cannot express the gratitude to have you and your lady Devin involved in our movement before it was even a movement. And it's incredible. And I honor you, my friend. I honor the rest of you fine folks who have seen what others have not, as we've been building the magical movement together. And this is what it's all about. You know, we talk about integrity-based human influence. We talk about sales. We talk about process. We talk about self-mastery, all of which are true, positive, and real. And some of the things we don't discuss often is the fact, God bless you, to whoever's out there.
My apologies, everybody.
Yes, you're so funny. Oh God. And we talk about that. That was funny. Let's just take a second to laugh. That was a Chuck. So, you know, shout out to Chuck for being on the huddle this morning. By the way, Chaz is part of our internal team. He is the backbone of our technology, of our CRM, and he's a pretty prolific sneezer. So Chaz, you know, lovely to have your input on the huddle this morning. So as we discuss, Chaz, anything you'd like to add to that?
All I was going to say was I wanted to make sure everyone was wide awake this morning. So thank you, Fernando.
Yes. Well, Adam, I'm glad you missed that, as I'm sure you would be fuming from the ears like a Tom and Jerry show. So that was rather hysterical. So as we drop in to the statement we were saying before the sneeze, and I hope you sneeze on your elbow, Chaz, was we talk about money, process, influence, scale, business, all these different dynamics. One of the things we don't chat about often is that one of the beautiful byproducts of integrity-based human influence is exposing truth. And Sean has talked about the Purple Party and different dynamics, and we've all had the pleasure of seeing his leadership in some rather interesting conversations. And the beautiful byproduct of stepping into high levels of integrity-based human influence is exposing the truth. So, Mr. Callagy, do I hear you out there?
You do, and I want to do some truth exposing on this Trajectory Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Buckle up, y'all.
Yeah. So do we have Craig Klingman in the house this morning? Do we see Craig?
Let's check the chat. I know Michael Smykin is in here, raising his hand, by the way, and Craig Klingman is here. So team, maybe we can tag him in.
We're going to get to Michael and Fred in 1 minute, but we got to expose some important truth with Craig Klingman first.
May I assume the truth?
You may assume it, but you may be wrong. So go ahead.
So did did Craig beat Sean in a surfing contest yesterday?
We will see in a moment.
Okay.
Craig, you out there, brother?
Yes, I am.
So yes, in full transparency and integrity, it looks like that just like you'd have the World Series, you'd have the NBA playoffs, and there is a tremendous home court advantage. In round one, we brought Craig to the East Coast, and he took a little bit of a pounding and a beating very courageously and bravely in the ways of LBI. And there was a dominant home victory for the East Coast surfing. And very similarly, yesterday on the beaches of Coronado with surfline.com having the waves at 4.7, there was a sharp closeout, major break, rapid drop break. And Craig Klingman whooped me good yesterday in his home court California surfing wave. So we're at a 1-1. And since California, we're here, I am committed to, before returning to New Jersey, having us have our tiebreaker, committed strong. So my preference would be before returning, Craig, that we this is going to be, sort of like in the Rocky Apollo world where, it's even, but not done. Right. So we got to clean this up now and find a finish. And we've both agreed that we surfed in two extreme conditions so far. And we want to find, so we're not playing in the mud. We're not playing in the snow. If this is a football game, we want to find our way to good conditions, normal day, and go do it. But Craig, congratulations, brother. I saw an unbelievable display of athleticism, of commitment, of passion and heart. And I think the entire time, Craig could not find, in the middle of my F-bombs flying in the ocean, anything but fun and nonstop chatter. So Craig, congratulations. And what say you, brother?
I just say it was very close, Sean. This does not stop because surfing, it just continues. I just want to say this to everybody. Sean's passion and going for it, that was wonderful. And Mona said, well, I thought this was funny. Well, no, I don't mean funny. I just saw a lot of arms and legs flying out there. That's what I saw.
There were arms and legs flying. If it was a fiberglass board, not a foam board, I think I would have broken my eye socket because I took a shot to my eye that I literally thought, I'm like, oh my God, is my retina detached? On one closeout, I've never, I can't ever remember being like dragged the opposite direction going under waves. And I was dragged the opposite direction like 4 different times yesterday. Not like drowning potential, but just massive concussive force that was out there. And yeah, I mean, it was fun and adventurous, but it was also wildly frustrating. So Craig, congratulations. You are the man. You did an awesome job, brother. And I'm looking forward to do it again. And your heart, your just love and kindness, your support out there, just with like, hey, like what's coming, like Craig would be like, there's a big one coming 80 yards out, big one coming 60 yards out, big one coming 40 yards out, and, we're having that kind of time together. My favorite moment of the day though, Craig, was when Craig very beautifully broke into a conversation as we're in overhead water, 100 to 125 yards offshore, lying on our boards, in certainly great white waters, right? I mean, there's great whites in the Pacific and certainly in the San Diego area. Watch any Shark Week episode. And so Greg starts talking about when he and his buddies went surfing one day, and they were surfing at a spot that earlier in the day, somebody was attacked and killed by a great white. So Craig decides that we're going to start chatting about a great white attack as we're lying on our surfboards 125 yards out. How far away from where we were was that attack? And when was that attack? Because in LBI, we talked about 104 years ago. When was this attack, Greg?
That was about 8 years ago, I think. But it was about probably 15 miles up the coast.
Okay. So it was a bit up the coast, but it was 8 years ago, not 104 years ago. So that was self-mastery, challenging in those moments, Craig, as we're dealing with sharp closeout waves and the whole thing. But it was an awesome, awesome day. I thank you for coming down. I thank you for bringing the surfboards. And, it was awesome, man. And I hope to do it again before crossing the country back east.
Thank you, Sean. I just want to say that every time I go with Sean out there, I just feel like a kid again, and I love it. It's good to feel like a kid during those times.
Well, yesterday I was the kid that was throwing his bicycle off the fence and it ricocheting back and hitting me in the face when I was learning to ride a bicycle. And that's what was present. That was what was present yesterday through a lot of it. I was keeping it internal as much as possible. But Craig, is it true or not that I got pretty quiet for a while?
You're pretty quiet, but you were. I was loving it. You were in the moment, Sean. You were taking it on, and you were living in the present. That was wonderful.
Yeah, and we were laughing last night and saying that our reaction, the intensity of our reaction, is in direct proportion to the level of our commitment. And so my commitment was high, and my reactions were strong. So, Craig, that was an awesome day, and it will be perfect. We'll talk to you later, brother. Thank you. And we're going to perfect segue into Michael Smikin, because I think Michael Smikin has also been party to strong commitment, strong reaction. So, Michael, good morning.
Hey, how's it going, Sean?
All right. Have you ever seen strong commitment, strong reaction in the space of any of the work that we've done together?
Yes, 100%. When Sean goes quiet, it's usually a super scary time, no matter which way you slice or dice it. I've been in the water with you, and it's always dangerous. So anything can happen in the water.
All right, that's awesome. Mike, your microphone's getting a little bit messed up. So you went in that real quick. So let's just start it, here. So how are you, Michael? And what's present for you, and what is cooking?
Hey, Sean, is that better, by the way?
So 100%. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what is present for me? I mean, there's a lot. And unfortunately, we had to deal with, and this, a death of a really close colleague. Still trying to figure out what's going on, but a very young associate that we used to work with together. We just found out that she passed away. So dealing with a little bit of the emotion connected with that, feeling connected in that regard. And then just,
yeah,
thankful.
If I could comment on that. Mike, so it was a very difficult day yesterday. I got the call from my mom, and it's somebody that worked at Callagy Law, somebody that both I and Michael were very personally close to, and it was a horrible tragedy and sudden, unexpected, out of nowhere. And in the New Jersey legal community, and certainly throughout Callagy Law, there's abject shock. Agree, Michael, that would be the best word to describe it.
Yeah. And, we've been connecting with other attorneys and watching Facebook light up. And it's just, I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So, you have that. And on the other hand, you have gratitude. So, and it just makes you appreciate all the things that you have and more. And, obviously not taking for granted that you can reach out to anybody and just say hi. And then the next minute they're not here. So, gratitude has to be the emotion that you substitute sadness for.
And I think overall, I mean, what was present for me, just sadness. And this is a person who had wonderful, kind, positive, flowing, bubbly, present, fun energy. Like fun energy was present. And to just think that we could be going along and worrying about or being uncertain about or present to what somebody thinks, somebody's blame, judgment, distortion, fear, freaking out about not catching a surfing wave, being frustrated by whatever, and like the next day, and none of that matters, like at the end of the day. And it's shock, sadness, disruption for sure is present. So Mike, I don't know, any final thoughts on that?
No, just, the what I had shared previously is probably so important, that you just have gratitude in your heart and make sure that you don't take the people in your life for granted, because they could just, boom, 1 minute they're there, the next they're not, and you don't have an opportunity to say the things that are in your heart. I think Bob Perry said it best, and these are words to live by for everybody, and it really changed my life, that if you have gratitude in your heart for anybody and you don't tell them, then it's like wrapping a gift and not giving it to them.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right. So challenging segue and transition into other things to chat about, Mike. So, and by the way, for those that don't know you, who are you?
So always a fun question. So Sean, you and I have been partners in the law practice now for about over 11 years, right? Going on 12. And, we just celebrated our 11-year anniversary. I'm a litigation partner here. I manage 2 divisions for the mighty Callagy Law. That is the litigation division, which is basically all things conflict and dispute resolution in and out of litigation. And then you have innovation law, which is all things entrepreneur, business owner, business optimization, essentially full boutique of all services that any entrepreneur could possibly need to help, protect their business, set up foundations, get grounded, and accelerate their business to get them to where they ultimately want to be.
And Mike, just to contextualize for people's listening, what has the formula? How is the formula applied to and impacted your life?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm in the formula, then everything that I want to accomplish, any result that I set out to do, will happen. And if I could give a really quick example, we're in the process of building up a new business that allows us to bring all of the benefits of innovation law to as many entrepreneurs as possible, and breaking free from the model of the hourly billable. And in doing those things and setting up the business, one of the biggest challenges I had was, how do I make sure that our clients who we worked with in the past and other people are made aware of what it is that we're doing? And I literally have been in the training program with you, which has been tremendous, Sean. I'm so appreciative of the benefit of doing that. But I immediately turned to the formula, and then I turned to the 7 levers. And I go, all right, so what do I need to do here? Ecosystem mergers, right? Sales meetings, sales, and I went through all the levers. I made a list of all the people that I had to call, and then I time blocked the time to do it, and then I did it. And yesterday I contacted 10 people. Today I intend to contact another 10. And all the conversations have been so incredible because as I get on the phone with these clients that I haven't spoke with in 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they tell me all the things that they're up to. And I go, oh my God, I'm like, I have to connect you with this person. And then we'll jump off the call and there's a 3-way text message with the people that I'm connecting with. And then those people are calling me and they're so thankful for everything that we've done. So literally in that vein, I've applied the formula. I've used, the model that we talked about, the 7 levers to achieve the result that I wanted to achieve.
So I give a quick insight. And one thing that Michael said might have stood out is people that you didn't talk to or we didn't talk to in 4 or 5 years, right? So I want to have a new phraseology for everybody. Michael, this is a new distinction, is that we're not in or out of the formula. Right. And I think I just asked the question, like, that may have even said that. So I'm working on my own phraseology. The formula just applies. It's like being in or out of gravity. Like, it just is what it is. And the formula is applying and it's producing the results that you have. And the question is just, where are you in your mastery over the formula to create the outcomes integrously that you're seeking? Because regardless of what you're doing, the formula is applying. So the exact results, if it's 0 and you don't have the disposable income you want, it's because the formula works and it's working. It's just giving you what you are putting in. That's it. So the direct results that you have in everything that I have in areas not working at the way I want them to, or Michael or you or anybody, it is working. Like, we are in the formula. So when we're not contacting clients in a division, and we've spoken about some of this in medical revenue recovery as well. If we don't have a sequencing of how those things go, if we could be doing the best job in the world, like, hey, we did a great job, everything's done, yay. But if we're not maintaining the relationship and growing it, then the formula is working to have the relationship die, right? Because anything that we're not feeding into then dies. And that's not a judgment. It's not a blame of anything or anyone, just the reality. It's like, okay, whatever relationships we're not nurturing will die, period. And so it is a testament, Michael, to the work that you've done, we've done, Callagy has done, that to somebody, no matter how great a job we did for them, we haven't spoken to in 4 years, that they'll pick up the phone and want to help. That's a testament to incredible work done. But also imagine what it would look like, everybody. And I think Deepak speaks into this, is, the dynamic of relationship maintenance and having it done as efficiently as we possibly can and growing. So I'll pause there because I want to get to what Michael wants to share. But Michael, makes sense that, like, the formula is applying. So whatever we have in every area, like, the formula is applying. Yes?
Yeah, 100%. And I love that distinction. I think you're 100% right. And Craig in the comments actually said, are you at cause of or being affected by? And he's 100% right? Like, gravity exists. So either you learn to run and bounce your body up and down, or you trip and fall on your face, right? So which one is it?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so brother, let's, so I think what we're saying is that what's been created is designed to save people legal fees and give people the opportunity to more efficiently do some things with our amazing friend and partner, Fred Pinto. Thank you, Tony Robbins World. I met Fred as a potential platinum partner. Fred moved into platinum partnership. And is Fred here with us, Michael, today or no?
No, unfortunately, he couldn't be.
Okay, so Fred's amazing. I met Fred through platinum partnership. Fred became a plat. Scott Humphrey introduced us. Ecosystem merger at play. I do a very effective job explaining the value of the ecosystem of platinum partnership. So Scott Humphrey brings Fred Pinto over to me to have a conversation. It's a gift that I give to Scott, Platinum Partnership, and Tony Robbins, and a gift I receive back is the beautiful introduction to somebody like Fred Pinto, who's amazing. We create a partnership in something called innovation law, and it was amazing. The formula applying, ecosystem merging, relationships being created, and more has been created, Michael. And what is that?
Yeah, so about a month and a half ago, we finally launched a brand new business called Fit to Exit, which essentially brings all of the knowledge of innovation law and allows business owners to access the entirety of it, right? Because in a lot of different ways, one of the biggest challenges that Fred faced, and one that he lamented to you, was that, you know, he is trapped inside the billable hourly model. So a business owner comes, sometimes they have a very specific challenge, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they need more global help. And the problem with the way we are forced to practice is that our time is a commodity. And, you know, it's really challenging to perform hours and hours and hours of service and not be compensated accordingly. And so one of the solutions that Fred was able to reach was actually on stage at the Unblinded event with Jay Abraham, and where he literally, Jay Abraham, you know, having put the two Fred and Jay together, you did it at the Unblinded event. Fred basically said, why don't we just do like an online course? Why don't we just bring all of this knowledge, bottle it, and make it accessible for anyone to own at any point in time? And if there's questions or challenges, whatever, we can help, but we can do this. We can deliver this to entrepreneur. And he literally he poured his soul into the product, which is now in the can. It's done, right? It's in a little bit of post-production, but he recorded, you know, 25 plus hours of video of all the knowledge that he had in helping entrepreneurs over the almost 2 decades of the work that he's done. And just, it's, you know, I've seen bits and pieces of it so far, and it's just tremendous, you know? And so we wanted to make sure that as many business owners as possible could have access to it, and have that knowledge. And to the extent there's questions, you know, you have access to us, you have access to the Unblinded folk, you know, you have access to the Exit Lab and the Unblinded team. So it's just been, you know, really fun journey, and wanting to disseminate that and bring that to the world.
And so, Michael, what's the problem though that Fit to Exit is set up to solve in the world? So, and if you could speak into, for most business owners, right, even if you're a solopreneur, what is, for most people, their most valuable asset? And then what happens to it other than their primary residence? For most Americans, their primary residence, the majority of Americans are not business owners. And the majority of Americans, their most valuable asset is their primary residence, unfortunately, because that's why most Americans struggle and live paycheck to paycheck. We have a very broken system of thinking about the financial world, right? And many of our friends in the financial world would be shaking their head and agreeing, right? So I'm sure Rob Gill is shaking his head, Karen, Brian, you know, and all the amazing fine folks. So for the business owner though, what is typically their most valuable asset, and what's the cycle? What happens to it?
Yeah, 100%, Sean. So, you know, Craig's words couldn't be more apt in this situation. You're either at cause of or affected by. And most business owners are in the grind day to day, building up their business, thinking about how to generate the next revenue piece, deal with the next challenge, deal with the next issue, deal with the next, you know, hire, and things of that nature. And they haven't actually strategized what their exit looks like. So if you don't have a map to your destination, how are you ever going to arrive there? And people just grind and grind and grind. And I'll give the most perfect example of this, and it's a really sad one. You know, my father passed away 5 years ago, and he was a business owner. And I love my dad, right? He worked like a horse every single day to provide an amazing life for us. But he had zero in the form of succession, exit planning, or anything along those lines. 5 years ago, he unexpectedly suffered a widowmaker heart attack and died. And as a result of that, my mother took over his business. And it was a really, really shaky time. And I just begged, all I wanted her to do was to sell it, get rid of it. I didn't want her to go through the pain and stress that she was going through at the time. And so much of it probably could have been addressed through the right kind of planning, through the right kind of strategizing. And that's the ultimate point of it all, is that every business owner exits their business. Sometimes it's a large net payout. Sometimes it's an internal exit, or, you know, succession, like your kids take over, or key employees take over and they continue to operate the business. But sometimes exits happen in a very, you know, in a negative way, right? You have bankruptcies and liquidations, you have death, you know, of the home of the business owner. And that's their most valuable asset. That's their legacy. That's what they leave to their family. And so what Fit to Exit is designed to do is to help you chart a course for your ideal exit, create the map on how to get there, diagnose whether your business, your vehicle is going to get you there. If it is, and it does, right, then we talk about acceleration, how to get there faster, how to chart the course, how to get there through all of the challenges and the crises that business owners go through, using influence mastery, growth mastery, and sales mastery, you know, to achieve that acceleration. And then we go directly to the nuts and bolts of an exit transaction. And I think one of the unintended consequences, or intended, if you ask me, is that if you build a business that is exit ready, you may never want to leave it, because some of the challenges that business owners have is in scaling their business because they feel like they're grinding away and they don't have freedom. But if you build an exit ready business that's ready for succession, you may want to stick around because now you have the freedom that you want. You're making all the money that you want, and now it just becomes about purpose and impact. And so I think that's what Fit to Exit it can do most optimally for business owners. And you don't have to exit. You can just build an exit ready business. And that's what Fit to Exit solves for. I hope that responded to your question.
And just to be clear, I own part of Fit to Exit. Michael, Fred, and I created this together. And Unblinded and I are also clients of Innovation Law, because it's indispensable. So it's just a part of like what is. And so Unblinded pays legal fees to Innovation Law to get things done for it, which, by the way, there's lots more things that need to get done. Because as you're growing and scaling, you are in disagreement with people as soon as you have an agreement and have parts of it that are not clear. Disagreement is not a conflict. Disagreement is the absence of an affirmative agreement. And that was one of the cornerstones when I was originally teaching the formula to people like Bob Perry in 2004, 5, 6. Disagreement is the absence of an affirmative agreement. And that can happen easily, especially when you're going hard and fast. And I at times am subjected to the formula of having disagreement in the absence of affirmative agreement. And I am clear, and I will give this to you, that as you grow and as you go, that you want to make sure you're in absolute agreement clarity, no matter what you said, no matter how clear it is, no matter if it's in a text message. I have been bitten so many times in my life by even having things clarified in text message that I didn't reduce to an agreement signed in writing. And I understand these principles. Yes, I have a law degree, own a 125 person law firm, but we could be going fast, and we could trust people, and we could love people, and we could be excited, and everybody could be well intentioned, right? Everybody could be well intentioned. It's like, no, wait, I thought we have the lemonade stand. Wait, whoa. You're working the lemonade stand on Thanksgiving. I'm not working the lemonade stand on Thanksgiving. What are you talking about? I worked the lemonade stand on July 4th. Well, we didn't talk about that. I thought you wanted to work the lemonade stand on July 4th. What are you talking about? Well, I worked it on Memorial Day. Yeah, but I thought you loved working. It's like that, even with well-intentioned people. But let's not get into even where there's not well-intentioned. And that's how friction is created. And we've seen some of our largest jury verdicts are the byproduct of this exact conversation of things that people paid attorneys for, were working with attorneys, and total insanity ensued. So having a level of knowledge and wisdom, and I said that fast. Let me be super clear, right? If you build something large enough, you could spend more than $10 million collectively in legal fees fighting about things with people that you were once best friends with. Like, we've seen that, experienced that. And that happens over and over and over again in the family law context. It happens, in my humble opinion, almost as much in the business context. There's even a phraseology, business divorce. Craziness happens. But that's not just what this is all about. It's like, okay, making sure it's in writing. It's how do you protect, how do you scale, how do you grow? So I will pause there. Michael, I want to bring this in, and then we'll finish. October 23, 24, 25, right? That weekend immersion. Obviously, you're part of Elite, and there's 5 tickets that you have. There is no judgment held globally, but as a partner in Fit to Exit, my request is that you use your 5, Fred uses his 5, and I will use 5 and have 5 for people that are outside of this ecosystem, right? People in Mastery, people in Elite, right? Group in one-on-one, they all get 5 tickets. Michael, Fred, everybody out there, do not use your 5 for somebody who gets their tickets anyway, because they're a part of Mastery or Group. That's not what this is for. This is for the expansion of your ecosystem and business dynamic. Does that make sense, Michael? On October 24th, there should be 5 people there that are the most optimal people that you can get. 5 people there on behalf of Fit to Exit that I can have present that would be working in the space of ecosystem merging for Fit to Exit. Does that make sense, Mike? And do you have, on behalf of everybody watching, do you have any questions about that?
Actually, I don't. And yes, I understand completely.
Okay, awesome. And then when is Fit to Exit alive? What can people do? What is your agreement formation proposition to people? How do they get to learn more on Exit Lab, and what's cooking?
Yeah, sure. So the best thing that you can do for information is go to the website. It's fit2exit.com, all one word. If you have any questions about the course, any questions about having more information about how this applies to you, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we do something called the Exit Lab, where we bring in entrepreneurs. We just had Brian Reppel on there. He was fantastic. Sean, you're going to love this Fridays. We have Bayman Zakari on. So, yeah.
I love that.
I know. Bayman is tremendous. And I think you guys are all going to love Bayman. Like, this dude can't sit still. He just has to keep creating new businesses and has been really, really successful in virtually everything that he touches.
By the way, Bayman was the reason that there's no Bayman. So there was like Mariah, right? Mariah Brown, who introduced me to Bayman. Bayman came and stayed at my house during UPW, and that led to me going to meet Mila Sadel and going to the Clicksters Innovation Session, which led to me doing what I did there. That led to me ultimately speaking on stage at Tony Robbins events. So Bayman was such an integral relationship dynamic, and he was also on stage at the January Unblinded immersion. Back to you, man.
Yep. So Bayman's going to be on, but yeah, just join us. We have a Facebook group as well. It's Fit to Exit is the Facebook group. Join there. And if anything, I'm going to put my cell phone number inside of the chat. Just call me directly if you have any questions regarding this, and I'm happy to take the time to answer whatever it is you guys have. So that's, reach out, please contact us, join the group, come to the Exit Lab at 1 p.m. and check out the website, fit2exit.com.
Michael Smyka at the January Unblinded immersion. We said, Michael Smyka, stop hiding. It feels like you have substantially stopped hiding. And I would still challenge you to continue to elevate, because it was very interesting when you ripped down levers. You said ecosystem merging, sales meeting sales, and you skipped over number 2. What is number 2?
Oh boy, now you're like definitely putting me on the spot. Speaking engagements. Hello.
Hello, Michael Smyka. So, and it's speaking engagements that go far beyond podcasts. I am going to now disqualify something. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but going on the podcast of somebody who is in Unblinded Mastery, Unblinded Elite, like Mastery, like Elite is a subdivision of Mastery. Let's go that. So when I say Mastery, it includes Elite, right? So if people are in Mastery, you go on their podcast. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should. That's a time blocking decision for you, but it no longer counts as a speaking engagement here. So cross that off the list when you're counting speaking engagements. That no longer counts for Michael and for everybody, right? And this is how, Michael, is this how like internal Callagy Law meetings sound? Like
100, ready for this? 100%. And guys, this is why I hit my acceleration, because I don't know if Sean talks to anybody else like this, and I got the benefit of it. So that's what changed my trajectory. That's what he does. So like, that's what the value is of the coaching. It's tremendous. It's hard, but it changes you for the better.
And why is there a lightning bolt in the hat, Michael? And can you explain how many scotomas and lightning bolts do you think you've received over the past 11 years?
Well, most people say the lightning can't strike the same spot more than once. I promise you guys, I've been struck probably 150 times in my life.
Well, I love you, brother. And that's because I care. And we have an internal thing in Callagy Law is when I stop confronting you, that's the time to get worried, because that means that I'm no longer seeing that there is an effective investment of time and energy, because what we're talking about is not being implemented and utilized. And it doesn't mean I don't love, it means the boundary is going up. And then the boundary is called, I'm going to stop investing time and energy here, because it's just not a good use, because this person is saying they're interested, but they're not, and they're squandering the time and energy. So Michael, final thoughts on that for you and your lessons in that space, because you have also, as I have, loved people unconditionally. And Michael loves people. Michael could show up at times a little more in his head, right? Michael loves people, cares about people, has unbelievable empathy. And what has the absence of boundaries, Michael, cost you in the last 11? You kept chasing people who you loved and cared about, that were employees, teammates, people on the outside, because you wanted to help them, support them. And what has that cost you when you haven't had boundaries?
Probably the most painful point is tons of freedom, right? Not making all the impact that I wanted to. And if I had to quantify it, it would be in the millions of dollars.
Right. Well, there you have it. So Michael Smykin is there. He is present. He is ready. Michael, love you. I'm super grateful for you. And we have only begun to begin. So thanks, brother. Awesome.
And thank you.
Right. Awesome. Fernando, final for today.
Final. Michael, I miss going in and stealing your black bat from your office. So hopefully soon enough, back in the nerve center. And to take it home, disagreement is the absence of affirmative agreement. Back to you, Sean.
Trajectory Tuesday. Love you guys. Time block. Love everybody.